My name is Catherine Gill, and I'm going to show you all how to use Procreate and how to draw a cat. First, let's go over the basics. Go ahead and open a new canvas by clicking the plus in the top right corner. To start with, let's click the square canvas. For this video, I'll be using an Apple pencil, so grab yours if you have one, but if not, that's okay. You can use your finger to draw on the canvas, or you can use something like this. To select a brush type, click the paintbrush icon. The paintbrushes are divided into categories. Take some time and try them all out. But for now, let's go to the drawing and choose Eagle Hawk brush. On the left, you can change the size of the brush by moving the bar. Underneath that is the opacity bar. You can use that to change the opacity of your brush. If you make a mistake, you can tap with 2 fingers to undo, or use the undo arrow down here on the left. To pick a color, click the circle in the top right. You can pick the hue with the outer circle, then if you pinch the inner circle, you have more options on saturation and brightness. So those are the basics of using Procreate, and we're going to use all these new skills to draw our cat. I'm using a picture of my cats as a reference, and I'm going to be drawing the orange one. And you can use any picture you want of your cat or even your dog, and just follow these basic steps. So I'm sketching out the shape of his head, and to do this I'm using one of the pencil brushes. It's under sketching and it's the HB pencil. So I'm just sketching out where the middle of the head is and where the eyes land. And then you can go ahead and sketch out the body shape. And this doesn't have to be exact. It can just be just a general shape, and it's probably going to look a little funny to begin with. So now that I've got the general shape of the body down, I'm going to start adding in details. So you can look back and forth from your picture that you have to your drawing and try to match it as close as you can. And you can undo as many times as you want. Use sketchy marks, because in the next layer we're going to draw over this so you can pick what looks best. So just go in like I'm doing and draw in all the little details. Now that I'm done with my first sketch, I'm going to go into the layers bar and I'm going to open a new layer, and you can do that by clicking the plus right next to where it says layers. And you can click that and hold it and move it around. So you can move it under or above, and that will just show what comes to the forefront. So whatever's on the top will be over everything else. Now here I'm going to select my picture I'm drawing from and put it on a different layer so that when I change the opacity of the layer, it doesn't change my picture too. So I'm going to do that by clicking the S and circling it, and then I'm just copying and pasting it. And I'm erasing the other one. So now click the N and you can just scooch the opacity down. I put it around like 25%. And then on your new layer at the top, you can go over it and start doing your final sketch. And this is the one you're going to color. So paying really close attention to detail, I'm just going in and kind of going over the lines I already had, but trying to make them a little less sketchy and a little more realistic. So like where the nose was just a triangle, I'm drawing in more of a realistic cat nose, going by the picture I have. Add in all those shadows and any little detail that you see, and you can just mess around with it, undo, redo, whatever you need to do to get it looking the way you like. And don't get overwhelmed or upset if it doesn't look right away. Just pull back and look at it, see what you need to add, and then add it. And right here I accidentally made a mark on under his left eye, and I don't catch it till the end, so it's going to be there the whole time. But I did go back and erase it later. Okay, now that you're done with your final outline, you can turn off the lower layer by unchecking that box. Take a look at it, make sure you add if you need to add anything extra now that that layer below is gone. Now we're going to open up another layer underneath, so you can just pick it up and drop it below the layer 3. And you can choose a general color that's the color of your cat. So I chose this kind of medium orangey yellow color. And I'm going to drawing. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to sketching. And I'm clicking the pastel. And I'm just going to color in the cat. This cat that I'm drawing, his name is Gilbert. So I'm coloring in Gilbert. Okay, so now that I've got his base color done, I'm changing my color slightly, just a little darker and a little more vibrant. And I'm gonna go in and add in his shadows. So I've already sketched in the shadows, so I'm mostly going to be coloring in where I've already sketched in the shadow. and it doesn't have to be perfect. And just now I noticed that where I drew his tail is actually just, I don't know, a wrinkle in his skin, and his tail is on the right side, but I just went with it. And if you did something similar, just go with it unless it looks crazy, and then you can change it, but I just went with it. So when you're adding in the shadows, you'll notice, depending on how your picture is lit, your shadows will end up being mostly on one side of your cat or on the other side. So pay attention to that because it can help you later on when you're drawing. Now I'm adding some pink to his ears and a little bit of a darker pink to his nose. Now what I did just there, that little square between the size and the opacity bar, when you click that, you can choose, it's like a color picker-upper, and you can go over your picture and choose a color you've already used, so you don't have to go try to find that exact color again. So I picked the yellow that I used for the base, and then I went to the color changer and I made it lighter so I could add in some little highlights. Gilbert has some bald spots above his ear, so I had to add those in. Now here I'm choosing the color for his eyes. Now one thing, Gilbert's eyes are a goldeny orange color, but in this picture they look more of a dark green. So go with what your picture shows and don't go with what you know, because if I had put really yellow eyes in this picture, it would have looked pretty weird. So again, I'm using the color picker, and I'm going a little bit darker than the color I used for the shadow, and I'm going to add in his lines. And I'm not exactly matching the lines on him, I'm just putting them here and there so it gives the illusion of his lines. So like that one on his arm I did kind of match, but then I went in with a bigger brush and I'm just making general markings on him. So don't get carried away trying to match every single little hair. And I'm adding the stripes on his tail. Like I said, his tail's in the wrong spot, but I'm going with it. Now I'm done, so I'm going to take off my picture I was using, and I'm merging the line art layer with the color layer, and now I'm going to use the little arrow tool and move it to the center and size it the way I want it. And after I sign it, then I'm done. And that's a picture of my cat Gilbert, and you can do something similar. You can draw Gilbert, or you can draw your own cat. There's so many cool tools on Procreate and so many things you can do with it. So mess around and have fun and be creative.